Hi guys, welcome. I'm Francisco and I want to teach you all about Ecom 101. I want to focus on something that is very essential, no bullshit, straight to the point, how to scale from zero to the first $10,000 a month. So last time we talked about ideas and validating your product. Today we want to talk about channels. Picking the right channel is super important. Then we'll talk about the platform, content, and ads, which comes all after your channel selection and your product idealization and also product validation. All right, without further ado, I want to focus on the channels. I made the mistake of picking the wrong platform. And if you pick the wrong platform, you will not be able to understand where it's coming from, and it cost me a full year of wrongness and also bad experience, which cost me around 300K in sales. So without further ado, I want to tell you the first thing that you need to do is to identify your target audience. You need to understand your customers, their demographics, their interests, and online behaviors and preferred platform. This sounds very straightforward, but trust me, this is going to be super important. A quick example is if you have younger audiences, Instagram and TikTok would work better. If you're looking for older demographics, which is 40 plus, you might look for email marketing, Facebook, SMS, and trust me, they're at different channels. If you target the wrong channels, your entire result, your entire sales will be very different. The reason is each channel, like social media, does not encompass all needs. And that is why we have different channels. Every channel accompanies a certain type of customers. So second of all, product type is super important. Your nature of the product will affect the channel that you pick. So is the pricing and the perceived value. I'll go over that later with the 3 products that I've shown here. Last is how visual is your product. If it's fashion, or is it home decor, or is it, based on image heavy products, then maybe you can go on Pinterest or Instagram. For example, a rice cooker or an air fryer would mostly be on Amazon. It's very rare that you see tech products or heavy kitchenware on Instagram. You just won't. The branding of it doesn't work the same way. Just like accessories, you will see them on Instagram and you'll see them on Amazon. You won't really see them in other platforms such as Walmart. That is not what they're trying to focus on. Beverage. You can imagine beverage cannot sell through Shopify or Instagram. I'll talk about that later. You would ask the question, and I know what you're thinking. What about my branding representation? Sure, right? Here's an example of how I would market all these. For the beverage, you want to get the traffic from TikTok. You want to get the traffic from Instagram. You want to convert them on Amazon, Walmart. That's a very different thing to jewelry. So product type really matters. The next thing is about the perceived value. If the higher the perceived value, the more it should be independent rather than a collateralized platform such as Pinterest, such as Etsy, such as Amazon. You can see these platforms, there's no big brands that is on those which you remember as a niche brand. So it's very different. Going next is about the budget, because every single channel is different. In my mentorship program, a lot of people come to me and the first thing I ask them is, how much do you plan to spend to scale your business? I started my business with $10, and that is exactly why I started with email marketing. It required a lot of time, lower upfront costs, but for longer term, it worked. If you wanted money and if you wanted the first sale to come through, then paid ads is the quickest way. Running ads on social media could be expensive, but it's the fastest way to get any results. And last but not least, if you don't know your margins, you cannot work on that, because Amazon is expensive. But trust me, Facebook is more expensive by the day, by the month, by the year. Back in the days, $1,000 a month is very decent, and I'm talking about 6 years ago. If it's like just last 6 months, you might need $500 budget just to see where it goes. Again, depending on your average order value and the product and the pricing of your product that we just talked about, your spend would be very different. Just because the more expensive it is, the longer it takes to convert. If it's something that you need to experience offline, then Walmart would be a good place. Target would be a good place. While you do all the traffic online, such as all the tea mugs that you're seeing that people would go to Walmart and buy a Stanley Cup, and rarely would you want to buy that on Instagram. But it goes viral on TikTok. So you get the idea. Next is your goals. You always need to define goals. Doesn't matter if you're going to the first 10K, 100K, 1 million. Trust me, if you're watching this video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Setting your goals is super important. What you're aiming for every single month, every single quarter would be very different. You want to do brand awareness. You want to do lead generation. You want to do sales. What is it that you want to work on, right? And at different stage and different product and different cycles, you want to mix and match. And that is very important, and I can help you brand and I can help you set your goals. If not, you can do that yourself as well. I can probably provide a template down somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, social media for influencer marketing is way better for awareness, while campaigns on emails are way better retargeting and conversions. And trust me, emails are super simple compared to social media. But if you don't have leads, none of them would work. So we need to understand that social media drive leads, emails campaign don't drive leads. You need to create the leads and nurture that email list. Next is how scalable is the platform that you're picking. I made the biggest mistake. The first 10,000 that I made was on YouTube, and trust me, it will still work. But YouTube doesn't go viral like Instagram does, like TikTok does. Instagram and TikTok is super scalable. It opens up to every single country. And remember, one thing I want to note is every single country has its own niche. Some people in some country doesn't use Instagram. Some people don't use Amazon. Some countries don't use Amazon, such as Southeast Asia, they don't use Amazon. I'm using this as a US representation just so you understand that the difference in platform will change your entire revenue model and how fast you can scale. Things like Amazon is limited by the platform traffic. You can imagine that. It's hard to get new traffic. However many users there have signed up on Amazon, that's it. Same for emails, it doesn't scale because it is bottom of the funnel. But Instagram and TikTok is very scalable. So we need to think about that in your entire strategy planning. Now that I think about it, I might do a template on how do you set up the entire system, entire flow, on how you select your products and what channel you should pick. Okay, next, your competitions. So what you need to do is you need to research your competitors. And why? Because if you're in the same price range with a different niche, you probably want to be in the same platform if it worked for them. It doesn't really make sense to jump out of that. For example, furnitures, you really need to experience it. So forget about selling that online, right? If your competitors are selling that online, look at what they're selling online. If they're selling jewelry online is fine. If you want to do offline, it's also fine. You need to understand where your competitive advantage is, what is your distribution model, what is your competition doing, and yes, you can either dominate the paid search within them, but at the same time, you can also explore content marketing or TikTok. Depending on your product, it could be a mix. I can get to that later. I can again do a funnel for you guys. Next is your pain point. What are they seeking for? Are they looking for convenience? What kind of product are you selling? For example, the squishies. It really worked on Etsy. It really worked on TikTok. It doesn't really make sense on Shopify. You can sell it on Shopify. It doesn't make sense on eBay. eBay is something that you're selling a trusted brand. If you're selling that is on your own brand, I'll suggest Shopify. And if you just want fun things, low price point, impulsive, TikTok. That is the range. It will shift, but this is just an idea. I want you to get an idea of what it means to have different channel. And if you pick the wrong channel, you're doomed. Basically, if you're trying to sell your own brand on Amazon, it's super hard. If you want to sell, recycled products or recycled brands, and you're just taking a wholesale distribution on Shopify, super hard. It just doesn't make sense for the margins. So remember, here I want to give you a small tip. If you're pricing a product, which we haven't talked about in the first page, you need really to scale at least 7 to 10 times. If your product comes in $10, you want to sell it for $100 if you're on Shopify. Other platforms, it'll be very different. Again, based on that, what is your customer journey? Where do they shop and what device do they use? This is very important because you need to optimize the photos, you need to optimize the funnel for them. Do they trust influencers, or do they trust reviews? Or as long as your beverage is in Walmart, that's all they care about. Who knows? If it's a product that they really don't care about it, then maybe all you need is trusted reviews on Instagram. So it's very different for every single product. But again, customer journey is very important. You need to think about them. Where are they buying from? Where are they getting the attention from? That we call top of the funnel, which is blogs, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Then it kind of funnels to where? Your remarketing, your website, your ClickFunnels, your emails. That would be bottom of the funnel. Amazon is also bottom of the funnel to finish sales. So remember that the customer journey is super important. So that is it. Stay tuned. Because of what I just talked to you about, and I literally have no script, I'd probably put a template in the link below. Actually, comment if you even want a template. If you do, I'll make one. If you don't, I'm not gonna be bothered. But let me know what you think. Happy to speak more and give you guys an update on what's next. So the next chapter, I'm using Canva here, we'll be talking about the platform that you need to pick. The one that we just talked about is channels. Next is a platform. Understanding the difference between platforms is super important.